My friends, I want to ask you a question today that will shake your spirit and stir your soul. Are you one of the chosen? You see, many are called, but only a few step into their destiny. The chosen are not just those who hear the call, but those who rise to the occasion. Those who refuse to let life define them, but instead define life through the power within them. There are signs, undeniable marks on those who are set apart. Those who carry a divine assignment. When you are chosen, you don't fit in with the crowd because you were never designed to. You walk into rooms and something about you unsettles people, not because you try, but because the light within you disrupts the darkness around you. You cannot conform because your spirit knows you are called to transform. When you are chosen, challenges don't break you, they shape you. You don't see obstacles as stop signs, but as stepping stones. Every difficulty is a setup for a greater revelation of who you are meant to be. While others see failure, you see a lesson. While others complain about the storm, you rise above it because you know storms don't last, but the strength they build in you does. When you are chosen, you can't ignore purpose. You may try to run from it, bury it, or silence it, but it keeps calling you. No matter where you go, it pulls you back. It interrupts your comfort, shakes up your plans, and whispers to you even in your sleep. Something deep within knows you were created for more, and no amount of distraction can erase that truth. When you are chosen, isolation becomes familiar. There are seasons where you feel misunderstood, where friends walk away and doors close. But hear me today. This is not rejection. It is refinement. The chosen are not built in crowds. They are forged in the secret place. Greatness requires separation because preparation happens in solitude. When you are chosen, your vision terrifies you. It's bigger than you, beyond your ability, outside your resources. And that is the proof that it is divine. If you could do it on your own, it wouldn't be your calling. The chosen don't shrink back in fear. They step forward in faith. They know they weren't given a spirit of timidity, but of power, love, and a sound mind. When you are chosen, there is a fire in you that cannot be put out. Life will try to extinguish it. People will try to discourage you. The enemy will whisper lies, and circumstances will try to break you. But something inside refuses to quit. The chosen don't retreat. They advance. They don't surrender, they stand. They don't just survive, they thrive. And when you are chosen, you don't wait for permission to become who you were created to be. You don't wait for approval from people who don't understand your calling. You don't wait for the perfect time because you know the perfect time is when you decide. You step into your destiny with boldness, with authority, with the confidence that what has been placed inside of you is greater than anything you will ever face. You were never meant to fit in because you were designed to stand out. From the moment you were formed, there was something different about you. You have felt it all your life, the sense that you don't quite belong. The feeling that no matter how much you try to blend in, you always seem to be set apart. It's not by accident. It's not a coincidence. Those who are chosen are marked with distinction from the beginning. There is something about you that others recognize, even if they can't explain it. Some are drawn to it, while others resist it, celebrate it, and others misunderstand it. But regardless of how the world responds, the truth remains. You were never meant to be like everyone else. When you are chosen, your difference is your strength. Yet, for so many, the pressure to conform is overwhelming. The world teaches you to follow trends, to think like the masses, to speak the language of culture, and to move in a way that is socially acceptable. But deep inside, there is a resistance, a knowing that you were called to something higher, something beyond what is ordinary. You try to walk like everyone else, talk like everyone else, and dream like everyone else, but your spirit refuses to settle. You are not satisfied with mediocrity, because there is a seed of greatness inside of you, and it will never allow you to become comfortable in places where you do not belong. Your uniqueness is not a burden, it is a gift. The world does not need more people who imitate. It needs people who innovate. It needs voices that are not echoes, minds that are not replicas, and leaders who do not follow blindly but who dare to chart new paths. Those who are chosen often feel lonely, not because they are isolated, but because they are pioneers. They go where others have not gone. They think in ways others have not thought. They dream of things others have not yet imagined. This can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. You were given a different perspective for a reason. You see the world through a lens that others may not understand. And that is because you are meant to bring something new to the table, to shift atmospheres, to challenge norms, and to introduce a higher way of living. Being set apart comes with challenges. You will face opposition, not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are doing something right. Those who do not understand your calling may question you, criticize you, and even try to change you. But that is only because they do not see what has been placed inside of you. When people do not understand purpose, they attempt to control what they cannot define. That is why you must guard your identity fiercely. You must refuse to shrink back, to silence your voice, or to water down your calling just to make others comfortable. Your presence is meant to disrupt, to awaken, and to stir things that have been dormant for too long. At times, you may feel the weight of this calling. You may wonder why you see things differently, why your heart longs for something more, and why you can't settle for the easy path. It is because you were not built for smallness. You were not created to simply exist. You were created to lead, to build, to transform. There is an anointing on your life that refuses to let you settle. No matter how much you try to go unnoticed, something about you shines. No matter how much you try to blend in, there is an energy, a light, a force that cannot be hidden. You do not need validation from the world to know you are chosen. The evidence is in your difference. The proof is in the way you stand out without even trying. Challenges are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are the very tools that shape you for your destiny. The chosen do not have easy journeys because their purpose is too great to be built on a weak foundation. Every difficulty, every setback, every moment of struggle is part of a divine process designed to refine, strengthen, and equip you for what lies ahead. If you have been facing obstacles, it is not because you are failing, it is because you are being formed. The greater the calling, the greater the preparation. And preparation always comes with pressure. Diamonds do not emerge from comfort. They are created under intense heat and pressure. Gold is not valuable until it has been purified in the fire. In the same way, those who are chosen cannot step into their full potential without walking through seasons of adversity. When challenges come, many see them as reasons to stop, but the chosen see them as stepping stones. Hardship is not meant to break you. It is meant to reveal you. It strips away the unnecessary, exposes the hidden strength inside of you, and teaches you endurance that cannot be learned in times of ease. Some of the greatest leaders, visionaries, and pioneers in history were not shaped by comfort. They were shaped by struggle. They did not rise because everything was handed to them. They rose because they refused to let challenges define them. They learned to push forward when others gave up, to find solutions when others complained, and to see beyond the obstacles when others were blinded by them. The chosen understand that challenges are not barriers. They are tests of faith, resilience, and commitment. When you face trials, you have a choice. You can either allow them to defeat you or allow them to develop you. Those who are chosen do not waste their pain. They take every hardship, every disappointment, every difficult season and turn it into fuel for their journey. They refuse to let setbacks keep them stuck. They refuse to let failures dictate their future. They refuse to let the weight of life crush them because they understand that pressure is part of the process. There will be moments when the weight feels too heavy, when the struggle feels endless, when the challenges seem unfair. But nothing you are going through is wasted. Every experience is preparing you. Every difficulty is stretching you. And every obstacle is making you stronger. When you are chosen, you cannot afford to be weak in character, weak in faith, or weak in determination. That is why the process is necessary. It is shaping you into someone who can carry the responsibility of your calling. It is removing every limitation, every insecurity, and every fear that would hold you back. Many people desire greatness, but few are willing to endure the process it takes to achieve it. The chosen do not quit when things get hard. They do not run from difficulty. They confront it head on. They know that with every challenge comes growth. With every test comes transformation. And with every struggle comes a greater level of wisdom and strength. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every trial is an opportunity for elevation. Every hardship is a training ground for the next level. The reason your journey has not been easy is because you were never called to live an ordinary life. You are being prepared for something greater, something bigger than yourself, something that requires endurance, patience, and unwavering faith. The challenges you face today are equipping you for the victories of tomorrow. The pressure you feel now is producing the power you will walk in later. The struggles you endure are not signs of your failure, but proof of your preparation. The chosen are not destroyed by their challenges. They are defined by them. Purpose is not something you choose. It is something that chooses you. It is not an option or a preference. It is a calling that relentlessly pursues you, no matter how far you run or how much you try to ignore it. Those who are chosen cannot escape the weight of their purpose. Because it has been woven into the very fabric of their being, it whispers in their thoughts, tugs at their heart, and interrupts their plans. It is the constant reminder that they were not created to live an ordinary life. They can try to silence it with distractions, drown it out with busyness, or push it aside with excuses, but it will always return, stronger and more persistent than before. There are moments when the pull of purpose feels like a burden. The chosen often wrestle with it because they know it requires sacrifice. It demands more from them than it does from others. It does not allow them to settle for less, to take shortcuts, or to live in complacency. It challenges them to rise higher, to stretch beyond their limits, and to embrace a life of meaning rather than mere existence. This is why the chosen often feel uneasy in environments that do not align with their calling. They may find themselves dissatisfied with things that once entertained them. They may lose interest in conversations, activities, or relationships that do not contribute to their growth. It is not that they are better than others, but that they are being set apart for something greater. Purpose does not wait for the perfect moment. It does not ask if you are ready, qualified, or comfortable. It interrupts your life at unexpected times. It disrupts your plans and forces you to rethink everything. It calls you when you feel unprepared, when you doubt yourself, when you believe you are not worthy. It does not rely on your feelings. It relies on the truth of who you were created to be. The chosen are often called before they feel capable, because purpose is not about ability, it is about obedience. It is not about having everything figured out. It is about taking the first step and trusting that the path will be revealed along the way. Ignoring purpose comes with a cost. The chosen cannot live in peace while running from their calling. There will always be a sense of restlessness, an inner conflict that refuses to be ignored. They may try to build a life outside of their purpose, but something will always feel incomplete. Success without fulfillment is emptiness. Accomplishments without alignment are meaningless. The chosen are not satisfied with temporary achievements, because they are designed for eternal impact. They are not drawn to the things that fade, they are drawn to the things that last. Purpose will test your faith. It will challenge you to step into the unknown, to walk in directions that do not make sense, and to trust in things you cannot yet see. It will require you to let go of comfort, to release control, and to surrender to a higher plan. The chosen must learn to walk by faith and not by sight, to move forward even when the road is unclear, to believe in the promise even when the process is painful. Purpose does not promise an easy journey, but it guarantees a life of significance. It ensures that every struggle, every setback, and every sacrifice will not be in vain. The chosen do not chase after purpose. Purpose chases after them. They do not have to force doors open. The right doors will open at the right time. They do not have to seek approval from people. Their calling comes from a higher source. They do not have to compare their journey to others. Their path has been uniquely designed for them. The weight of purpose may feel heavy, but it is also the greatest privilege. It means that your life was meant for something greater, something beyond yourself, something that will leave a lasting impact long after you are gone. Separation is never easy, but it is necessary for those who are chosen. When you carry a calling, you will go through seasons of isolation, not because you are forgotten, but because you are being prepared. It is in solitude that the greatest growth happens, where clarity is developed and where strength is forged. The chosen do not become who they are meant to be in the crowd. They are shaped in the quiet places, in the moments when no one is watching, in the times when it feels like nothing is happening, but something is happening. There is a refining process taking place, a transformation that cannot happen when surrounded by too many voices, too many opinions, too many distractions. Many misunderstand this season. They assume separation is rejection, that being set apart means being abandoned. But rejection is often redirection. When doors close, when relationships shift, when familiar places no longer feel the same, it is not a sign that something is wrong, it is a sign that something is changing. The chosen must learn to embrace this process rather than resist it. They must recognize that being removed from certain environments is not about punishment, but about positioning. Some places can no longer hold who you are becoming. Some connections can no longer support where you are going. Some spaces are too small for the expansion happening inside of you. Growth requires separation. Seeds do not grow in crowded spaces. They grow in isolation. They are placed in the soil, covered in darkness, left alone beneath the surface. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But in reality, everything is happening. Roots are forming, foundations are being built, and strength is being developed. The same is true for the chosen. There are seasons when you feel buried, unseen, and forgotten. But this is where your greatest growth is taking place. It is where your character is refined, where your faith is strengthened, where your vision becomes clear. There is a reason why not everyone can go with you. The weight of your calling requires people who can handle the responsibility of your destiny. Some relationships were meant for a season, not a lifetime. Some connections were necessary for where you were, but they cannot sustain where you are going. The chosen understand that elevation requires separation. Every new level demands a letting go. Not everyone will understand your journey, and that is okay. The chosen must learn to walk alone at times, not out of pride, but out of purpose. The greater the assignment, the lonelier the road. Isolation is not a place of weakness, it is a place of preparation. It is where distractions are stripped away so that focus can be sharpened. It is where dependence on external validation is removed so that confidence in the calling can be established. It is where the noise of the world is silenced so that the voice of purpose can be heard. Those who embrace this season will emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their purpose. Many resist separation because they fear being alone. They cling to familiar places, comfortable relationships, and past versions of themselves, afraid of what will happen if they let go. But those who are chosen understand that separation is not about loss, it is about gain. It is about stepping into something greater, something deeper, something more meaningful than what was left behind. The chosen recognize that every great leader, every world changer, every visionary has gone through seasons of isolation. They understand that being set apart is not about punishment, but about preparation. They know that the loneliness they feel today is producing the strength they will need for tomorrow. They embrace the process, trust the timing, and allow the refining work to take place knowing that when the season of isolation is over, they will be ready for the next stage of their destiny. When you are chosen, the vision placed inside you will always be bigger than what you think you can handle. It will be beyond your resources, beyond your abilities, and beyond your comfort zone. It will stretch you, challenge you, and make you question if you are truly capable of carrying it out. That is the proof that it is from a higher source. If you could accomplish it on your own, it wouldn't be destiny, it would just be a personal goal. But the chosen do not walk in small dreams. They are called to things that require faith, things that seem impossible, things that demand complete trust in the process. When you first receive the vision, it may feel overwhelming. You might look at yourself and see all the reasons why it cannot happen. You might see the lack of resources, the limitations in your experience, the obstacles standing in your way. You might feel unqualified, underprepared, or unequipped. But vision does not come to those who are already ready. It comes to those who are willing to be shaped into the person who can handle it. The process of becoming the person who can carry the vision is just as important as the vision itself. Many people abandon their vision because they expect it to come fully formed. They want the plan laid out perfectly, every detail clear before they take the first step. But vision does not work that way. It comes in pieces. It unfolds as you move. It requires steps of faith, moments of uncertainty, and the courage to move forward, even when you do not have all the answers. The chosen understand that vision is not about seeing the full picture from the beginning. It is about trusting that each step will reveal the next. Carrying a big vision also means facing big resistance. The moment you step into alignment with your calling, opposition will arise. Doubts will come. Obstacles will appear, and people will question what you are doing. Some will not understand it. Some will try to discourage you. Some will even walk away because they cannot see what you see. But the chosen do not rely on external validation. They do not need approval from others to pursue what has been placed inside them. They do not wait for the perfect conditions because they know that purpose does not operate on convenience. Fear will always try to convince you that your vision is too big. It will whisper that you are not capable, that you do not have what it takes, that you should settle for something smaller. But fear is a liar. Fear wants to keep you comfortable, but destiny requires risk. The chosen understand that fear does not mean stop, it means push forward. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every movement that changed the world started with someone who refused to let fear dictate their steps. There will be moments when you feel like giving up. Moments when the vision seems too far away, when progress feels slow, when frustration creeps in. But the chosen know that delay is not denial. They understand that just because something is taking time does not mean it is not happening. They recognize that the process is shaping them, preparing them, and strengthening them for the weight of what they are building. They keep moving forward even when they cannot yet see the results. The chosen do not shrink back from big visions. They do not let the size of the dream intimidate them. They understand that if they were given the vision, they were also given the capacity to fulfill it. They know that provision follows purpose, that the right doors will open at the right time, that the necessary resources will come when they are needed. They do not operate in fear, but in faith. They do not focus on what they lack, but on the power of what they carry. They walk boldly, knowing that what has been placed inside them is meant to change the world. The chosen do not wait for permission to step into their destiny. They do not hesitate, second guess, or hold back because of fear. They move with boldness, with confidence, and with the certainty that they have been called to something greater. There is a fire inside of them that cannot be contained, a drive that pushes them forward even when circumstances seem unfavorable. They understand that hesitation is the enemy of purpose, that waiting for perfect conditions only leads to wasted time, and that playing small does not serve the calling on their life. When you are chosen, boldness is not an option, it is a necessity. The path before you is not ordinary, and it will not be walked by those who are afraid to take risks. It requires courage to step into the unknown, to go where others have not gone, to do things that have never been done before. Many people live their entire lives paralyzed by fear, waiting for a sign, waiting for approval, waiting for someone to tell them it is okay to move. But the chosen understand that the sign is already within them, that the calling itself is the confirmation they need, and that if they do not move now, they may never move at all. Boldness does not mean the absence of fear. It means acting despite the fear. It means stepping forward even when the outcome is uncertain. It means trusting that if the vision has been given to you, the way will be made for you. The chosen do not allow doubt to control their steps. They do not let negative voices dictate their decisions. They do not wait for the applause of people to validate their purpose. They understand that if they have been set apart, then they must also be willing to stand alone when necessary. Moving with boldness means refusing to shrink to fit the expectations of others. It means walking in confidence even when people misunderstand you, even when they criticize you, even when they question why you are so determined to chase what seems impossible. The chosen know that they cannot live according to the limitations of those who do not see what they see. They recognize that boldness is required to break barriers, to shift mindsets, to challenge the status quo, and to build something that lasts beyond their own lifetime. Every great leader, every innovator, every history maker had to move with boldness. They had to make decisions that others were too afraid to make. They had to step into places where they were not welcomed. They had to push forward even when everything seemed to be against them. The chosen understand that waiting for certainty is a trap. There will never be a moment when everything is perfectly aligned, when every resource is available, when every question has been answered. They move forward with what they have, knowing that provision meets those who take action, that doors open for those who knock, that opportunities appear for those who are willing to take risks. Boldness is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is the difference between a vision that remains an idea and a vision that transforms lives. It is the key to stepping into places of influence, into positions of leadership, into spheres that require courage to enter. The chosen do not let fear keep them stuck in preparation mode. They do not let uncertainty keep them from making decisions. They do not let the opinions of people keep them from walking in their assignment. There will always be reasons to hesitate. There will always be excuses to delay. There will always be voices that tell you to wait, to slow down, to reconsider. But the chosen understand that boldness is the currency of destiny. They know that the future belongs to those who have the courage to act now, to step forward even when they feel unqualified, to embrace their calling even when they do not have all the answers. They do not wait to be invited into their purpose. They step into it with authority, knowing that they were created for such a time as this. The journey of the chosen is never ordinary. It is marked by challenges that shape them, a purpose that relentlessly calls them, and seasons of separation that prepare them. They are given visions bigger than themselves, ones that demand faith, perseverance, and an unshakable belief in what has been placed inside them. They do not walk in fear, but in boldness. They do not shrink in the face of adversity, but rise with resilience. They understand that every hardship is preparation, every setback is a setup, and every delay has a divine purpose. They refuse to wait for permission to step into their calling because they know they were created for impact. The chosen do not settle for an average life because they were destined to change the world.